Life often throws challenges our way, and sometimes it feels like we are surrounded by people or situations that seem determined to bring us down. In these moments, it can be hard to see a way out or believe that things will get better. But remember, even when we can't see it, God is always working behind the scenes for our good. He promises to fight for us, especially against those who rise up against us. When we trust in His timing and His plan, we can find peace and strength, knowing that He is our ultimate defender. God may not come through for you immediately, but He is working behind the scenes to fight those who rise up against you. God works in His perfect timing, even when we can't see it right away. Let's discuss this with instances from the Bible where God came through for His chosen ones. Joseph, one of Jacob's 12 sons, was sold into slavery by his jealous brothers. He ended up in Egypt, where he faced numerous challenges, including being falsely accused and imprisoned. Despite his suffering and struggles, Joseph remained faithful to God. While in prison, he interpreted dreams for Pharaoh's cupbearer and baker, but was forgotten by the cupbearer after being released. 2 years later, Pharaoh had disturbing dreams that none of his advisors could interpret. The cupbearer then remembered Joseph, who was summoned to interpret Pharaoh's dreams. Joseph revealed that the dreams foretold 7 years of abundance, followed by 7 years of famine. Impressed by his wisdom, Pharaoh appointed Joseph as the second in command over Egypt. Though Joseph's deliverance wasn't immediate, God was working behind the scenes, preparing him for a pivotal role that will save many lives, including those of his family. When Joseph later reunited with his brothers, who tried to kill him, but later sold him into slavery instead, Joseph said to his brothers in Genesis chapter 50, verse 20, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good, to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives." God worked behind the scenes during Joseph's trials and turned his suffering into joy, proving to us that he did not forget Joseph during his trial days, but was working everything out for his own good. Those who tried to harm Joseph, his own brothers, were humbled by God. The Israelites were enslaved in Egypt for 400 years. The duration of 400 years is mentioned in Genesis chapter 15, verse 13, where God tells Abraham that his descendants would be strangers in a land not their own and enslaved for 400 years. This period is symbolic of long suffering and endurance, highlighting the severe oppression faced by the Israelites. While the biblical accounts often depict longer lifespans, by the time of the Exodus, lifespans were shorter but still significant compared to today's standards. The suffering of the Israelites was immense, and they cried out to God for deliverance. For a long time, It seemed like nothing was happening. Generations lived and died in slavery, but God was not idle. He was preparing a deliverer. God chose Moses, who had been raised in Pharaoh's household, escaped to Midian, and was being prepared by God for his mission. When the time was right, God called Moses through the burning bush to lead his people out of Egypt. Through a series of plagues, God demonstrated his power and ultimately led the Israelites to freedom. But he is always at work, preparing the right people and circumstances to bring about his plan. Exodus chapter 2 verse 24 says, "So God heard their groaning, and God remembered his covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob." God sees your tears. He sees the pain in your heart, and at the right time, he will come through for you. Esther, a young Jewish woman, became queen of Persia. Meanwhile, Haman, a high-ranking official, plotted to destroy all the Jews in the kingdom. The decree for the annihilation of the Jews was issued, causing great fear and mourning among them. It seemed like an impossible situation with no immediate solution in sight. In the midst of their suffering, God was working behind the scenes. Esther, guided by her cousin Mordecai, courageously approached the king and revealed Haman's plot. The king, outraged, ordered Haman to be executed on the very gallows he had prepared for Mordecai. The Jews were saved, and Esther's bravery was instrumental in God's deliverance. Even when God's hand isn't immediately visible, he positions his people to bring about his salvation. David was anointed by the prophet Samuel as the future king of Israel while he was still a young shepherd. However, he did not become king right away. David faced many years of hardship, including being pursued by King Saul, who sought to kill him. The Bible says in 1 Samuel chapter 30 verse 6, "But David found strength in the Lord his God." David lived as a fugitive, hiding in caves and constantly on the run. While it may seem like God has abandoned David during his time of moving from cave to cave to hide from Saul, God was at work behind the scenes. During this time, God was shaping David's character, teaching him to rely on his strength and preparing him to be a just and wise king. Eventually, Saul's reign ended and David became king, ruling with a heart after God. God's delays are not his denials. He uses the waiting period to develop us and prepare us for the plans he has for us. God's timing is perfect, even when it seems like he is delayed. Whether it's Joseph's rise to power, the Israelites' exodus, Esther's bravery, or David's journey to kingship, God was always working behind the scenes. His plans are always for our good, and his timing is always right. Even when it seems like nothing is happening, God is always at work, fighting for you. Lay your burden before God in prayers. Let go and trust God to fight for you and also come through for you at the right time. Have faith that what you ask God for or what you have been praying to God for will manifest in God's perfect timing. God has not forgotten you. He fights your unseen battles. As we navigate the ups and downs of life, let's hold on to the assurance that God is on our side. Even when we can't see the way forward or understand why things are happening, God is there, fighting our battles and paving the way for our victory. Trust in His promise and let His presence fill you with hope and courage. Remember, the struggles you face today are the stepping stones to the triumphs of tomorrow. God will always stand with you, and in His perfect time, you will see the amazing things He has planned for you. Keep the faith and stay strong. He hears the gentle whispers of your heart desires. He promised to never leave or forsake you. Heaven and earth will pass away, but God's promises are true and will never return to Him until they have been fulfilled. Let these inspire and motivate you today. May you always trust in God's perfect timing and His unfailing love. Thank you for watching, and may God bless you.